Yeah, it's so you've got a little time to sit back and reflect, and you go into every season. When I think you want to make the playoffs. I don't think management has their job of projecting and kind of looking at the future. And as a player, our job is to play the 82 games and win as many of them as we can. And you try and from what I've learned is just try and make the playoffs. After that, it doesn't matter. So you know you we were not there, and that's where we want to be. So that part of it, as I start to watch playoff hockey, you'll want to be there. But there's a lot to be proud of, I think, of what we accomplished. We're a young team. Um, a lot of. I think if you look around the room, and I don't love stats all the time, but you've got I don't know how many career years from guys and young kids coming in and impressing for the whole season. A lot of good, a lot of talent, and I think what's cool about it is looking forward is they're really good character people that we have in that room, and just felt like we had a lot of people pulling the rope the same direction, and not many people, if any, hanging on for a ride. It seemed like everyone was pulling their weight, and that's something to be proud of, and something as a new person in this organization, I am proud to be a part of it. It's something I look forward to building on, and I think we've all got a real sense of purpose of what we can be and what we want to be, and I think that's going to fuel us going forward.
Yeah, I think when you look back maybe at the whole season now, you guys set a franchise record for goals scored, things like that. This was a fun team to watch, I know, from the outside. From your perspective as a player, was it as fun?
Yeah, I personally, it's probably one of the most fun years I've had on a daily basis. It doesn't end with the championship. It doesn't end with a playoff exit or playoff series win, and that's where you want to be. But I think as a group, we like where we're headed. And personally, I got to enjoy a lot of fun hockey this year. And I think when you're enjoying it and having fun, you're playing well and you're performing, and that's the name of the game here. And it's a results-based business, and we know that. But yeah, there was a lot of good times this year on the ice, and with a new group, a relatively group that hasn't had a lot of time together. I think we clicked from the start.
As a center, we've been in this league for a while now, and you can kind of make an assessment, I think, of guys who play your position. What have you thought of the job that Cole Sillinger has been able to do here at 18 years old?
Nothing short of incredible, really. It's so impressive how he handles himself, how mature he is, type of the player is what you guys see, and that's impressive. And I think Columbus is lucky to have him, and I think there's going to be a lot more coming from him. And but I think he's just mature beyond his years. You can see that, and young kid, and he comes in and he's scored his whole life, and he ended up scoring a lot here too. But it's tough to realize, okay, I gotta play on the D side of the puck, and just really just incredible. I saw something tweeted out that guys that scored a certain amount of goals when they were 18, and that's a pretty good list. I don't know those all names, we all know those. So and I'm sure he doesn't that's not why he was playing. And that's what's so impressive about him, is that's not in his mind. That's not what he's striving for. And someone like me who's been around, I learned from him this year at times, and so impressive, and happy to be his teammate for the foreseeable future.
Sean, you talk about guys who had career years, you had career numbers, but you also had, I don't know what the ability was, but when guys played on your line, they seemed to improve. And I don't know how you measure that. I don't know what kind of pride you take in that, but I wonder if you could just comment on that, because you can name the guys off who they get on Kuraly's line for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden their game steps up. What does that mean to you right there?
Well, I think that's part of my my role and my job is, to like work as a group of three and make it work, and no matter what it is. But I will say, and I've said this before, in this instance this year, and I was lucky to play with a lot of good players, and you can't do it without good people and good players and good teammates, and that was, no matter who was on that line, was all of those. So I felt lucky for that. But as guys in the bottom six of the lineup, we want to win games, and you got to bring something. You have to move the game in your direction somehow, and if that's how we have to do it, is bring a new line together because something happened, an injury or whatever. Even if it's just a 5% or whatever, you don't know if that's going to be the difference in the game. So that's where I come from, and my thought process is, and maybe the 5% is the difference tonight, and a lot of times it's not. But you got to do it every single night for it to come to fruition if you want to end on the good side of it. So I think all of us that played together this year had that sense of pride, and I think that's why it worked.
And you've now spent an entire year in Columbus, playing for Columbus. Was it what you expected it would be? Were there surprises? Did it exceed your expectations? What has it been like for you?
Right, so I've grown up here. I've lived here. This is my hometown, but you don't know what goes on inside these walls until you get in. And I came in as a fan for many years, obviously, and felt like this was my team. But as someone who's from here, I think it made me even more proud to be a part of this. With now that I know what's going on inside these walls, and I don't know what's gone on the years before, but the people and that are in place and everything that's going on behind the closed doors is something that, being from here, I can take a lot of pride in. I'm proud of it, and it's exceeded my expectations. It's I love this city, I love this team, and our fans were there till the last game, which is just awesome. So this is it was, that part of it was something I didn't you think about and whatever, but just kind of want to, I know I had a job to do, I had to play hockey, and so now a couple days later you can look back and be like, that's pretty cool.
Coming from a playoff team, from a team that's been in the playoffs every year, what do the Blue Jackets need to make up that 25 or so point difference to make the playoffs next season?
Yeah, we're going to be a little bit older next year. We're going to be, have gone through it. I think that's management's job to kind of figure out what we need. Obviously, we got to win a few more games. So your goal's got to be 100 points to make the playoffs. So how do we get to winning more games? Is the player's job is once we get the team together is figure out how to do it. And I think the start of that is we got to give up less goals. There's obviously a goals against correction that I think as an organization we want to make, and that's 6 guys on the ice at all times. There's no one one onus on a position. You got to defend as a group of 6 to be successful, and I think that's probably something that if we can address as a team, that we're going to win a lot more games because we can score, and so I think that's probably the number one thing.
In some ways, it'll be a similar question, but Jake Voracek was just here saying, that step to becoming a consistent playoff team is maybe the hardest one to take, because when you're not much is thought about you can kind of play and whatever, but when those expectations kind of arrive and making that, getting up that hill, that final step is really difficult. And you played on, again, really good teams in Boston. How do you kind of help that team get to that point and use the experiences you've had previously to help this, such a young team still keep going up that hill? Right.
I think what I had learned over the years from those, a lot of good players I was lucky to play with there is just show up every day and work your butt off, and you never know when you're going to get the chance, or you never know when it could be your year, but you gotta, it just sounds basic and cliche, but you just gotta, put your best foot forward every single day, and do your best and give it all you got, and you never know, if you make the playoffs, you can win a cup. That's as far as I'm concerned, the goal. But if you don't make it, you got 0% chance, obviously. So what do? You just give it your all every day. You work hard. You be yourself. You know your strengths. You stick to your strengths, and come together as a team. Which I think we've got a lot of talent there. We've got a lot of good character people. It's something that I think we're all excited to move forward and take the next step. And that next step is like you said, it's hard to do. Now this year we're back to a team that was just out of the playoffs, maybe a little 10 wins out of the playoffs or so, and we got to find a way to win those 10 more games. But that'll be the challenge next year.
I asked you a little bit about this in LA, and you were talking about Cole earlier, but it's not just him, but you see him, you see Kent, you see, Dick comes in and plays well, Carson, there's a ton of young guys, obviously, that are just getting their feet wet, but I mean, all of them seem impressive in their own ways. As an older guy, just how exciting is it to see that group is as good as maybe advertised, and you've got a lot of guys to build on for the future?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff you can't teach, what they're bringing and what we've acquired, and you look around the league and you need it to come from there. For these successful teams are all coming from within, and to see that, obviously, one of my biggest goals is to help this team win, and when you see that, you get a little excited about what can be, and we've got work to do, no doubt, but I think we've got the pieces.
How's your toe?
It's all right. I'll be in this boot for 4 weeks maybe, but it's a 6-week process. Broke the knuckle of my big toe, so it's you'd be surprised how much you use that. You wouldn't think, but there'll be no golf for a while.
Block shot?
I actually ran into the end wall. Yeah, I tried to hit someone and kind of missed, and my toe cap just went into the end wall. Yeah. So.
Did you play on it for a while after that?
Yeah, I was in the third period. Yeah, I was in my boot, and the second I knew, it was the Edmonton game on Sunday. It was early in the third period, but when you step off the ice, it's a whole different feeling. So when I stepped off the ice at the end of the game, I knew immediately that it was broken.
And you're right.
Yes.
So, I shouldn't even ask that. Never mind, scratch that from the record.
Yeah.
How do you drive?
Yeah, I've learned how to do it with it. That might not be the safest way, but I do keep my other shoe in the car. Like this morning, I had both shoes on, and I drove with my shoes. It is, yeah, put it on when I get out. But yeah, I didn't think about that until it was can't do left foot. I tried that. It doesn't work.
And you came so close to playing 82 games. Does that, I don't want to make you feel bad, but did that bum you out that you didn't get there?
Yeah, I thought, you start getting there, and I guess what helped was the COVID is just uncontrollable. So that's kind of what got me. And then, but I wanted to play 82 games. That was kind of a goal. I got close. It's the end of the season. Trust me, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I want to make this thing happen. I'd never played 80 games. It's always seemed to be like high 70s. So I was really trying to get there, but disappointing. It's just fun to be like Peaker and Gus this year. I think it's just credit to them, and especially them, because they play so hard, and they're there for 82 games is pretty special for them. I think you show your teammates that you're preparing and playing hard. I think those two combinations of preparation and how they play is something I respect a lot, as seeing another teammate do that. So you're trying to.
Sean, management in the past year has taken the leadership, and they've actually asked, for feedback or things. Have they given you that opportunity to share your thoughts on the team overall and what you might want to see moving forward?
Yeah, I just walked from an exit meeting there to here. There's open communication. I think, they've got that under control. A lot of really smart people in that room, and they ask for feedback, and give it to them to what you think, what I feel appropriate, and I think probably keep most of that between us. But it's I was asked absolutely, and was able to share.